Hello, gang! Kelvin Cruz here, the lead singer for the band A Thorn for Every Heart. A Thorn for Every Heart was a little screamo band that you may or may not have heard about in the early or late 2000s. But yeah, we're still here. We still exist. We still are actively writing music, talking to each other, hanging out, occasionally playing shows, all that great stuff. And it's because of you, the fans, the people that care, that we're able to do that. So, for those of you that are maybe discovering us just now, or those that have been long time fans, I wanted to share some behind the scenes and a little bit of history with you. Well, we wanted to. So hopefully this is the first of several versions of this type of content, but I'm going to tell you the story of AtFe from my perspective. So, in the early summer of 2003, I, Kelvin Cruz, auditioned for the band that would become A Thorn for Every Heart. Now, despite knowing a few people in this band, I really didn't have any favoritism or anything that I thought was like, oh, they're just going to know me from blah, blah, blah and love me. I had been in bands in high school. Really, there would be no A Thorn for Every Heart without A Static Lullaby, in that, like, Dan Arnold and Joe Brown, name dropping, those guys brought me into the punk and music scene as I know it. I went to my first show and watched their punk ska band 12-Step Program, and they played with a band that I also enjoyed that was a punk ska band, Link 80. And I went to that show and I was just, it blew my mind and it opened my doors. Years later, that band would break up, and then Dan Arnold and Joe Brown would part ways, which left Dan wanting to do another punk project. We're all in high school at this point, like babies, 16, 17, whatever. So we formed a band called Likewise, which would later be changed to Lexington. Awesome band, great pop punk hits, like way too good to be 16-year-olds on our first go around. Times were different then. There wasn't the internet, there wasn't a lot of stuff, but we got some opportunities and we did some cool things, and it was awesome. When that went away, there was a period where I was left without a band, and music had become something that I loved, and singing, and especially punk and pop punk and emo, I was becoming very attached to, and very, it just resonated with me. So, that being said, I was searching. I did find a new band after my high school band was dissolved and became several other bands that are still around to this day, most of them. Static, I'm looking at you. But anyways, fast forward, I'm in a band with a gentleman named Ray Brady. Ray Brady, awesome, very talented guitar player. He was a touring musician and studio musician for the likes of Jessica Simpson, Black Eyed Peas, etc. My buddy Casey Hansen had somehow known about Likewise or put me in touch with Ray. And they had some great songs. I think it was like 2 or 3 tracks, and I was just like, all right. So I just made up my stuff in typical Kelvin fashion. I'm pretty good and quick on the spot with improv stuff. So remember recording that, impressing them, and we were like gung-ho. I literally recorded our first 3 songs as that band in will.i.am's studio in Glendale. Like, this was pre-Ella Punk, so this was right before Fergie was actually known for being in Black Eyed Peas. Even had the opportunity to be in the music video for Let's Get Retarded before it was changed to the now politically correct version of Let's Get This Started. Fun fact. Last fun fact of the pre-AtFe days, because this is running long already. But for some reason that band didn't work out. There were scheduling issues, and I remember some kind of conflict or rift between myself and Ray, to where he questioned my dedication and commitment to the band. And at the time, I was driving to Downey from Chino Hills in California. It's like a 45-minute drive, pretty much 4 nights a week. just to practice the 3 songs that we had. And was up nights in the studio in Glendale with Will and Ray and just like recording to all hours in the morning. I was green. I wasn't as savvy about studio and recording or even singing, but I had something and we had something and it was cool. But the rift or whatever it was separated myself and the guitar player, and I was basically booted from the band. So, fast forward to me hearing about a potential opportunity to audition for a new band. Now, I was at a Poison the Well show at the Glass House, and this was with Joel Holt. I wasn't going with him, but he was there. Joel is a longtime friend of mine. I've known him since junior high. We went to high school. We played guitar shows together. He's toured with us as a both functioning member of the band, A Thorn for Every Heart, and as a tech and as a crew member. He's teched and crewed with many other bands such as Static. Anyways, great man. I ruined that entirety of that show because the whole show I was basically singing and screaming every fucking line right in his fucking ear to show him like, I can scream, I can sing. And I'm sure, I know it was annoying him. I could tell it was annoying, but whatever, I did it. Must have worked because somehow my hat got thrown in the ring for these auditions. So fast forward to the audition. I show up to this house. It's on the corner of Montclair, just past Phillips. If you know Montclair, Pomona area, it's just past the 7-Eleven, a few blocks up. There's this little house on the corner lot. A big property. Old house. And I can hear the jamming from the living room. Just... And I'm like, all right, I'm here. This is it. Cool. I'm excited. I go in. You know, it's a typical Chino, Ontario, Montclair house, like lived in, man pad, basically. You know, it's the type of house you would expect to be owned by a group that is already in a band. So that's what it looked like, which was cool. I was like, hell yeah, here we go. Let's do this. Practice space in the living room. Let's go. And they had 11 songs or so, and they just played them. And I just improv'd to every single song. Just made shit up on the spot. No. Oh, can you play that one again? Let me hear that part one time, okay? Let me hear that again. No, it was just play me what you got. And I just went ape shit, and I was singing and flowing and screaming. I was standing on the couch like Rick James in some Dave Chappelle skit. No joke. I was on their couch, standing on their couch, like, fuck your couch! And screaming, just going balls to the walls. I don't even know what I was doing. I was out of body. But it was cohesive, and we were like, at one point I think we played the set twice, maybe even 3 times. I know for a fact, after we ran the whole 11 songs, I said, let's go again. And I made up shit on the spot for all 11 songs again. And I don't know if it was the first run through or the second run through, but I look at Jeff and Justin, who I kind of knew, but am pretty much essentially just meeting. And I look at them giving each other this look like, okay. And I knew that's when I got it. I was like, all right, I got it. I'm in this. And I came back. I left. We had a great little audition or whatever. And they were hitting the pavement. I knew there were some talented people going out for this project. And I knew I was on a short list at least. But I was like, I was feeling confident. And I felt the vibes and the gel. And I was hungry. And I was ready. And I left. But I forgot my hoodie. And I went back. And I even remember my cousin Chris coming to the audition and watching a part of it because he was in the area, like, oh, okay. Sitting on the couch having beers, watching me try out for a band, like, just being like, this is cool. And left my hoodie there, and so I had to come back and get it. And I remember coming back to get my hoodie, and there was someone else auditioning right after me. And I remember like just walking in the house mid audition or whatever, and just like going to the couch and grabbing my hoodie and just kind of like, yeah, good luck with this guy. I don't know who that was. I'm sorry if that was you. But that was it. I knew I was in. I got the call. I got accepted. And I was thrilled. And from then on, it went to a development stage in which we were picking our songs and cherry picking the best of the 11 that they already had, which I believe we dwindled down to 6 or 7 songs. And I believe we recorded 6 of those first 11 songs. And they're all recorded. They were all part of Silence is Golden, minus one song that was a B-side, but does exist and is fully recorded and produced. So, yeah. And we got a buzz. Again, this was before MySpace. That's right. A Thorn for Every Heart formed like 3 months. It was fully formed and writing songs before MySpace existed. So, AtFe is pre-social media, very much so. And I can't help but think that my reluctance to get on board with the concept of social media might have influences or impacted our career, so to speak. But it wasn't about that. It was just about making music and connecting with people that I believed in and that I thought their cause and their drive was pure. And, at the time of finishing the recordings of Silence is Golden, my previous band members did reach out to me and present me with a rather substantial offer to join and come back to that band with a record deal. And I basically told them to kick rocks. And like, you screwed me over. You said I wasn't committed, and I was. And because of that decision, I found musicians and a brotherhood here. And I'm not going to abandon that just because you're flashing this contract in front of my face. And despite a couple of little schmooze and booze dinners and opportunities to maybe, and I remember at one point getting a phone call from some studio exec or something and telling me like, we can make you huge. And I was like, I don't know who you are and I don't care. I have a band. We're already recorded our own record and produced our own record, and we're ready to do this. So that was it. I was all in 100% for Thorn for Every Heart. And it's been one of the greatest experiences of my life. I love everybody that's ever been a part of the band, anybody that's ever been a part of our crew. Despite our rigorous efforts to... Vigorous? What am I even saying? I'm making up words. Despite all our efforts to be jerks and assholes to our bestest and closest friends, we still have some. We've had a lot of drummers and a rotating door of guitar players and techs and crews. We've loved them all. Like, there's no bad blood on my end or our end. I do think that we have maybe a reputation or had a reputation of being like jerks, but it was just in good fun and jest. Like, we don't want to hurt anybody. We care about each other. We're just dickheads. So that's my story of A Thorn for Every Heart. I joined the band. I was the last puzzle piece to a group of very talented musicians. There would be no A Thorn for Every Heart without Joel Holt, Jeffrey Harbour, Aaron Peck, and Justin Powell. And I also have to mention Joy Welling. Joy was a very talented, very fun, free-spirited woman and a violinist and musician and a wonderful person and a good friend. And sadly, she's no longer with us. And she really was not her last contribution to the band was actually a song called Mirrors and Mistakes. And it was something that we had demoed for our debut record after finishing Silence is Golden. And she was kind enough to come in and play violin on that track, despite not being officially in the band any longer. And she would later die in a tragic rock climbing accident. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Joy. Joy Welling, we miss you. Our band probably would not have found stardom without you. And that's my story of A Thorn for Every Heart. A bunch of kids that loved music and fell in love with the newly emerging music scene. Were we riding coattails? Maybe. But it gave us an opportunity of a lifetime, and it's something I wouldn't trade for anything else. And it gave me lifelong friends. So, that is Kelvin Cruz's story of A Thorn for Every Heart. I auditioned to a fully formed, fully functional, fully capable band that already had a singer. I came in and became the lead singer and the screamer, and that evolved into whatever you think we are today. So there it is. That's my story of Atfe. I don't know how I could have condensed it into anything shorter. I have a million memories and a million thoughts and things to say about this band and how much I love this genre and all the people I've been fortunately blessed to meet along the way, from big, huge named people to just friends and fans. So, thank you guys. I hope we can continue this trend. I hope it wasn't that long a watch. If you watched it, thank you. And keep your ears open, because guess what? We're gonna drop new music. It's ready. It's being mixed, you guys. It's being mixed. It might be mixed at the end of this month. I don't even know. I don't know when it's coming out. It was supposed to be September, maybe October. I don't know. Demand it. Shout it. All right, I'm out. This is 20 minutes or less, or your pizza is free. Thank you so much. Kelvin Cruz, the story of that day, my story of that day. I love you guys. Enjoy.